Hey, Bobby. Chris Carmen, Son of a Source. What were your sort of takeaways from the BYU game from a receiver standpoint and sort of focusing on getting forward into conference play?
As a current receiver coach, we focus on our mistakes, definitely. The couple drops we had really, to me, stalled drives and, made a major impact in the game. And those are the things that I'm focused on. We did make some good plays down the field when we needed them. We had some big catches and some clutch situations that gave us some opportunities, and that we maintained our level of effort, was really high, and that's something that, it's not negotiable for us as a receiver corps. And, we were physical in the run game still, so a lot of things to grow on and build on.
Hi, Bobby. Hod Rubino, Devil's Digest. When you look at the first half and the second half, it really was a tale of two halves, I think, for the passing game. I mean, first half might have been the best passing performance so far this season, but second half, it did tail off, even though the running game really picked up, especially in the third quarter. When you looked at the film, was there anything that really stood out as to why the second half was different from a passing game perspective compared to the first?
I think it was more of a focus in recognizing what our strengths were offensively as a whole. I think although we made good good gains in the passing game in the first half, we did recognize that we were a more physical team at the time in the run game, and we needed to get back to that. So I think it was more of the focus of Coach Hill, changing, the focus of being able to run the ball in the second half to keep us in the game. So it wasn't so much of the opportunities and not missing the opportunities, it's just more, focus of the run game.
Hi, Bobby. Doug Howler at The Athletic. Just in regards to, you've been in the game for a long time. How difficult is it when you have a lot of disciplinary things go wrong on the field? What's the process like just to kind of get all that cleaned up? Can it be a quick fix, or does it take time?
It definitely takes time. I think, we got to recognize, the age group we're dealing with these young men, and, the transition from high school to college and coming off of a COVID year, the transition with the coaching changes. They're dealing with a lot of adversity that they're dealing with. And so, for me, it's trying to find a way to motivate them and understanding that the off the field things and how much they relate to the on the field success. So, I just really continue to try to focus on, their lifestyle, changes, time management, things like that can really carry them, on the football field as well as in life. So there's a transition there. There's a period of learning period that needs to take place, and then, just adapting to some of my expectations, and then how I'm going to be a person that's always on that. I feel like it's non-negotiable for me. I think with, how you relate off the field will definitely directly correlate to how you play on the field.
Hey, Bobby. Lena Washington, 12 News. I'm curious from your perspective how you see the players holding each other accountable, especially after, this last loss on the field, off the field, and just, on campus. They're with each other the most. So how have you kind of seen them keep each other in check?
That's the biggest challenge, I think, with our group as a whole, finding that leadership, finding that one person, the two people that can really grab the group and grab individuals and hold them accountable at the same time, being able to look at themselves and not point the finger or belittle each other, but really try to build. So a loss really challenges that, and that's really what we need, so to say. You hate to lose, but you really try to find the positives out of the loss, and I think that's the one biggest thing is our group individually, and then a team collectively, just holding each other accountable and, not pointing fingers, but constructive criticism that's going to allow us to be better.
And Coach, you talk about obviously running the ball more in the second half, but like you're saying, dealing with young receivers, I mean, obviously they want to make plays, they want the ball. How challenging is it for you as a receivers coach to kind of balance that patience in that their time's going to come, but obviously running the ball could be really good right now?
That is the challenge. And it's difficult, and you want guys that want the ball. You want guys that want to be on the field. Within that, you want guys that are focused with the team focus over the individual. So it's challenging. You got to find ways to let them believe that you have a plan for each individual. I try to do my best to, from walk on to best player, getting the most reps, to let them know that where I see them and where I see them progressing, what they need to get better at, and then their role, how they fit in on the team, and it's extremely difficult to make everybody happy. You never will. I just hope that collectively as a whole, that they believe in the fact that we have a plan for them, and that plan is to let them be at their best. So it's difficult, but you still want those guys. You want those guys that want the ball. You want the guys that want to be on the field. And you just need to continue to challenge them, and sharpen their weaknesses.
In the middle and then the back.
Hey, Coach, Gabe Schwartz, Devils Digest. Andre Johnson has made some big plays in the passing game against Southern Utah in the opener, and then, of course, the 58-yard catch on Saturday night against BYU. What have you seen from his progression to allow him to be so explosive in the passing game, and how does he continue that?
Dre has been, really. He's a silent leader in our room. He's a guy who. Sitting behind other really good players, with Frank last year, and, and seeing him progress and grow, and really taking the opportunity to focus on the things that he was weak at. And that's what you really need to do. And Dre's really stepped up to that challenge. I think he has a real long way to go. It's really good to see that he's found his niche and he's comfortable with tracking the deep ball. That ball he had in BYU was a very difficult catch. I mean, the point is he's working to a landmark, and the landmark ball comes over his head. He has to readjust to that ball. And then, just a technique catch. You see his eyes and hands on the ball. His hands are high. A lot of the stuff that we really harp on and focus on, Dre's really good at taking that from the practice field and applying it in a game. And that's going to just continue to get better for him. And that's what we really try to challenge all our kids is with the technique stuff at the wide receiver position, just kind of finding a way to the little drills that we work on, carrying that into the actual gameplay. And you can see that, in his play. But, I anticipate Dre to just continue to get better and, continue to be a silent leader and just put his head down and work hard.
Right here, Chaz Messman, Cronkite News. Elijah Badger is a guy that just got his first snaps last week. And now that he's finally eligible and starting to get healthy, what type of impact do you think that he can have on your offense?
It's going to be up to him. That's strictly going to be up to Elijah. Obviously, his talent, his ability is something that we all can see. You can't hide that. But, it's difficult when you miss weeks because the game just continues to get faster. And so Elijah right now is 3 weeks behind, 2 weeks behind of catching up to that game speed. And with that comes new installs, it comes new learning, and then guys getting shuffled around as well. So I think he's doing a good job in understanding that it's day by day for him. It's minimal opportunities until they become bigger. And then the more we give him little bits and pieces, the more that he shows us he can handle, the more he'll play. And it's pretty much for everybody in that room. But, we love Elijah. We think that he's made strides with his transition from off the field things to, understanding how important it is to, to pair the two together, and then, just his time management deal. But we're excited about where he's at, and, he'll get better. He'll get a couple more reps this week, and we'll see how he plays.
Last two questions, Hode and then Chris in the back.
Bobby, coming into the season, Zach Hill made it sound like there's not a go-to wide receiver, not a number one wide receiver. Do you feel you're at the point where maybe you're able to find the designation, and how much difference does it make? How important is it really to have or not to have that designation in the passing game?
Honestly, for me, the way I see it in our room, I challenge every guy to be interchangeable. I think that it's only going to benefit them in the long run. With that said, the opportunities will determine if you're a go-to guy or not. And that opportunity changes every week. It changes every opportunity, every chance, every situation in the game. So I expect all of our guys, to think like they're the go-to guy, to put themselves in a position to prepare like a starter, prepare like they're getting every ball. We never talk about any dead routes in our offense. I tell them every route's alive. I really challenge them in the blocking. And so a lot of that is the more they play, the better they play, the more opportunities they'll get. So obviously we like to target some guys in some certain areas, use their strengths and some weaknesses. Some guys are faster than others. Some guys are taller than others. But as a whole, in general, I just really challenge them all to be the go-to guy, and just be ready for your opportunity.
Bobby, what stands out about Colorado's coverage schemes and personnel?
Personnel's tricky. They change a lot of. They change it. It varies. They go from a 3-4 to a 4-3. They got different down linemen. They move things around a lot. So we just got to be prepared to really bring our offense to them. I think really find a way to settle down and do what we do really well. Trust our eyes, trust our training. See what we see, because they're going to twist it up. They're going to mix it up. And then, seeing last week how BYU did a ton of drop 8 on us, we anticipate probably some of that, especially after taking a loss. So we just got to be prepared for absolutely everything. Personnel-wise, I think we match up really well. I think we'll be able to, especially in the secondary and the perimeter, I still think that our group is the dominant group when they're on the field. I thought last week we were too, and we just got to be prepared for any opportunities we get and, be able to capitalize on them. So, I think it'll be a good game.